I have a dream. My four little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
Dr. King once said, life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others? The individuals we honor today clearly understand Dr. King's call. They're answering by making dramatic improvements in the lives of so many others. We celebrate the content of their character.
Hello everyone, I'm Tamara Banks. Welcome to the presentation of the 2015 Martin Luther King Jr. Business Awards as we honor 6 exceptional citizens in our community and pay tribute to one of our civil rights pioneers, Ruth Steele, with the Trailblazer Award.
Dr. King led the way for passage of significant civil rights legislation in the United States, including the Voting Rights Act. Although the Supreme Court has recently stripped the measure of much of its power, it is still important to recognize that the Voting Rights Act was passed 50 years ago this year. Another milestone that we mark this year is the 30th anniversary of this event. In 1986, 2 years after the passage of House Bill 1201, which established Dr. King's birthday as a holiday in Colorado, Mrs. Wilma J. Webb founded the Martin Luther King Jr. Business Social Responsibility Awards to give the business community an opportunity to honor the memory of Dr. King and reaffirm our commitment to the values he taught us. This year, the name of the award has been shortened to the Martin Luther King Jr. Business Awards. A total of 212 individuals, corporations, and nonprofit organizations have received this meaningful award over the years. Today, we add 7 more names to this prestigious list. When the Children's Outreach Project Therapeutic Preschool was founded in 1970, it began as a unique early childhood special education project.
We provide play therapy, we have speech therapy. A lot of our kids have speech therapy lags, and we have a bilingual speech therapist. Then we also have physical therapy, and we have occupational therapy.
The goal is to fill the gap in services for high-quality care for children with special needs. Children's Outreach Project provides these therapeutic services at no extra cost to the family of students in need of help.
A lot of our kids aren't diagnosed in the regular school system early enough, and we can do it because we check them right at the very beginning when they enter our school.
Evidence of its success is that the school became the first 4-star, Qualistar rated preschool facility in Adams County in 2007. Children's Outreach serves the most vulnerable and disadvantaged students in the county. Of the 139 who attended over the course of last year, 76% qualify for free or reduced lunch. Since becoming president of Metro State University of Denver in 2005, Dr. Stephen Jordan has led the institution on a rapid trajectory toward becoming one of the preeminent public urban universities in the nation.
It's urban universities that will create that next democratization and transformation of our economy, and I think our university is well positioned to do that, particularly in Colorado.
And in a bold move, Dr. Jordan became Colorado's only college or university president to increase higher education access for the state's undocumented students.
These are kids who were brought here by their parents out of no accord of their own, unbelievably bright, who really have known no other country and want to make a difference.
Under his leadership, MSU Denver has achieved university status, launched its first master's degree programs, and seen undergraduate enrollment skyrocket. In 1976, 8 Head Start moms started Mikasa Resource Center in the basement of a Mennonite church as a job training program serving mostly Latina women.
Mikasa has really grown into a significant institution, not only for the Denver metro area, but we're leaders nationally.
In 2008, the organization changed its mission to advance the economic success of Latino families. They added business and youth programs, recognizing the importance of self-employment and education as key paths to self-sufficiency.
We have never aimed to just get a person a job. We want to get a person a career that leads to a livable wage.
Last year, more than 76% of the graduates of Mi Casa's career programs were placed in full-time jobs, far higher than the national average of 54% for similar programs. Mari Newman is a partner in the law firm of Kilmer, Lane & Newman. Her practice emphasizes civil rights and employment law.
There's never been 1 second that I've thought of doing any other kind of law.
Mari has dedicated her entire career to advocating on behalf of the underdog and disenfranchised against the entrenched power of government and corporations. For example, she represents 5 detainees who've never been charged with a crime, but have been held for more than a decade in a prison in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. In 2009, Mari led her legal team in a case against the Colorado Department of Corrections and others for the rape of a female inmate by a prison guard.
Now, the sexual assaults in the women's prison are significantly lower because there are cameras in places where there had not been cameras before.
Mari received the Colorado Trial Lawyers Association Case of the Year Award for her successful efforts.
If you can't find a job, you can't work.
Beth Massey is using sewing to help women mend their lives. In 2005, Beth mentored a woman to help her get out of prostitution and addiction. But the woman's past followed her, and she wasn't able to get a job. She eventually ended up back on the streets. Beth thought if women can find a job, they have a fighting chance at a new life. A year later, Beth started Mission Wear.
Mission Wear is a nonprofit sewing business that hires women that have obstacles to employment, such as a history of incarceration, a history of felony, addiction, homelessness, domestic violence, anything that has prevented them from finding employment.
Since inception, more than 50 women have found a new life by working in Mission Wear. It's a safe place for them to start over and feel the grounding effect of employment.
Giving someone a job is sometimes it's like winning the lottery for some of these women.
Penfield Wallace Tate II was on the front lines of human and civil rights in Colorado. He graduated from Kent State University in 1952.
He often talked about the fact that although he was a football star and the first All-American at his school at Kent State, there were times when the school would travel to play other teams, and they'd go to other cities and schools in West Virginia and other places, and they wouldn't let the team stay there because Dad and one other black, they were on the football team.
As a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army, Penn began his legal studies at night. He graduated from the University of Colorado Law School in 1968. He then became the first African American to be elected to the Boulder City Council in 1971. In 1974, he was elected the first African American mayor of Boulder. And he was ahead of his time in the 1970s, championing the rights of the LGBT community. But being a great dad was probably his most notable accomplishment.
We spent a lot of times doing stuff around the house, he and I fixing things, and my mom and sisters used to joke that when we fixed it, it never stayed fixed for very long, but that's okay. It gave us an opportunity to fix it again.
Penfield Tate II passed away in 1993, but his legacy of civil rights lives on.
9 years ago, we began honoring pioneers in the civil rights movement with the Trailblazer Award. The 9th winner of this prestigious honor is Ruth Steele.
Born of humble beginnings in a small Texas town, Ruth Steele understood at a young age the power of education. She was an outstanding student, graduating from Centennial High School in Pueblo.
The 5th grade, the 7th, and the 9th, that I tested out of those grades, and I graduated from high school at 15.
After experiencing racism firsthand during a family visit down south, she decided she wanted to become a lawyer. Then, as a legislative aide, Ruth joined a committee co-chaired by Wilma J. Webb and the late Arie Parks Taylor to promote legislation to establish the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. After 7 legislative attempts over 10 years, the bill was finally passed in 1984 and signed into law. In 1985, Ruth saved the old Lincoln home, many years ago the only orphanage for black children west of the Mississippi, and transformed it into the Martin Luther King Jr. Cultural Center and Museum in 1997 in Pueblo.
We want to keep it going. I want the young people to learn their heritage and their history.
Dr. King's memorable words of love, hope, and compassion have clearly stirred the souls of the individuals we honor today with the 2015 Martin Luther King Jr. Business Awards. We celebrate the content of their character and applaud their efforts to make life better for so many people in Colorado.
Free at last! Free at last! Thank God Almighty! We are